back again this week. I really haven't got to do as many of these as I'd like. You know, it's a hectic time for all of us right now. I work for our local hospital, so I'm pretty busy. But I did decide to go throw together a little dry fly, just basic imitation, just a few quick ingredients. Of course, I always put the recipe up there for you guys to see so you can tie it yourself. I really like just, you know, tying in general, so this little dry fly I think is kind of a neat little challenge. Kind of working with hackle is always fun. So, yeah, I'm going to hope you guys enjoy. Like I said, I'll put it all up there. I'll put a little video up of it floating in the water after I'm done. And you guys kind of just let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye. So, I just come up with this little dry fly. Just basic, not really trying to be any certain thing. I use the fibers off of paintbrush, a little olive color dubbing, little barred hackle, and fluorescent green, and then my olive colored thread. And I can either use some white yarn, or I'd like to actually do it with a piece of white foam to make a wing. And then I also use just a little bit of this mallard duck feather just to make a little wing undercase. So I'm going to start, of course, with my thread base. And I'm not really going to try to cover the whole hook, because by the time I get my dubbing and everything else on there, it'll take care of that for me. Just a couple of quick wraps. Clip off the tag end. And like I said, just kind of cover up a little bit there. Next, I'm just going to grab a few fibers from my paintbrush. Just 2 or 3 there. Clip them off and make them roughly a little bit over the length of the shank of the hook, just to give us a little bit of that tail end we need. And then of course, you know, you have to make room, so you got enough to tie in there. So a few wraps to hold that down. You wrap back till you get over top of where the barb of the hook is, and just put right like that. From that point, I'm getting ready to put my dubbing on. So I'm just going to pull out a little bit here, just enough to get started. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of dubbing wax, slide it up and down just a little bit here, just to give myself a little bit of something to stick to. I always like to spread my dubbing out, because when you get it out of there, it's kind of all clumped together. Doesn't really, I don't think, go on there, so I kind of spread it out and just twist it on. Which will spread it down the length of the thread for you. Get it on there. Then I'm just going to start tying it in. Just thread wraps over. Once it starts covering, just start working my way forward. I'll usually hold the dubbing just a little bit. I think that helps keep it just a little bit tighter. Wraps. Just work your way up. So you get about 3/4 up the length, back up the length towards the hook eye. Kind of tie everything down to help hold it in place. Give you a nice little abdomen, thorax here area. Next is going to be my underwing. which I just take about a half-inch section of those fibers on that duck feather. Kind of fold them in half there. Kind of shape them up there a little bit. Kind of look and see where it's at. Take a couple of loops just to kind of get it in there. You'll have to ignore my dogs back here behind me. All that racket that they're making. They like to hang out in the office when I'm doing this, so they like to make. The problem is they don't know how to quit making a racket. Once you get that in place, just a couple more wraps after you trim it off, just to help hold it down. From here, I then I'll grab one of my hackle feathers. Just always kind of brush it back like this, which I know it's a little hard to see because of the way my camera's wanting to go. Lay it down there, so it's just take a couple of wraps to hold it in place. Okay. From there, just kind of leave it laying back here out of my way. Then I'm going to take my white foam, which I use a lot of the kids craft foam from Hobby Lobby or any of the others. And I'm just going to cut me off a small little sliver of it. Basically, all you're wanting to cut will be the length of what your scissors are for your normal standard tying scissors, because you're going to get it just about the length of the shank of the hook, because you're going to shape it up a little bit. What I do is it's just pretty much a rough shape. So I come down onto the one end and I just cut it off at a quick angle to help it kind of tie in. On the other end, I've got these little curved shanked hook scissors, and I just come back here, and this just gives you the kind of the shape of the wing. And I'm just going to kind of slowly curve it around on both of them. Like I said, it doesn't have to be real good. I mean, we're not looking at being perfect, just enough to give us that basic shape of a wing. I'm just going to kind of lay that right there on top. And what this does is it kind of adds a little bit of flability. Since it's a Dryfly, it's going to help keep it up keep it up and floating for you. But also, it adds just a little bit of visibility for you. So I then just wrap my thread forward. I then take my hackle and I just wrap right around that. Keeping those fibers, try to keep them loose. Thread down here a little bit out of my way. And just take several good wraps around at the front, just to kind of build that up some. I'll tie that off in there. 1, 2 quick ones around that way. And reach in there and just snip the rest of it out. Now, to me, I always think I'm not the best at wrapping hackle, and I admit that. Then I just kind of push back. I'm just going to wrap it around here a little bit, kind of help hold everything back where we want it. I mean, if you going towards the front ain't too bad, but you're just looking at that kind of deal right there. And last, I'm just going to tie it off with a couple of quick whip finishes, just to put it down tight. pulling my hackle back out of my way. Tag end right there. Off. Now, got a basic, just a little Dryfly. Like I said, really can't say it's imitating anything one in particular. I think it's going to cover a mayfly pretty well. You know, we're looking at, you know, I tied this one on a size 12 Dryfly hook, just a little something bigger, just to give us a little bit more. Of course, I'm going to drop this one in some water. Let's just see what it looks like. Probably from underneath as well, just to give us a little bit of view of what the fish is looking up at. You'll be able to see that the wing, even though it's nice and visible for us, isn't really going to show up that much differently than anything else above water form. So that's the reason I don't mind using the little, it's a 2mm thick foam. So I think it covers pretty good. Makes it, like I said, helps it float a little bit better, keeps it up. Just better visibility. And I think anytime it helps us be able to see it better, it's a good thing. Plus, it's going to allow that to not need as much Dryfly floating put on it. Gives it a softer feel than you bite down on it. But it's not going to interfere or change much as far as like the profile of it. Alright guys, thanks a lot. Remember to hit the subscribe button. Thanks.